This is Fleet Admiral Aleksandr Volkov, retired, former Supreme Commander of Terran Defense. What I am about to share is the complete tactical record of the Battle of Sol, the engagement that nearly ended humanity, the engagement that instead ended the galaxy as it knew it. On March 15, 2347, 12,000 alien warships entered our solar system to destroy Earth. 50 human ships stood in their way. This is Case File 001 Omega. This is the story of the last stand. The Grand Armada was the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. 47 species contributed warships. Races that had been enemies for millennia put aside their differences for one purpose: the extermination of humanity. We had grown too fast, too strong, too unpredictable. The galaxy had watched us defeat the Virathi, humble the Orani, survive the Vor, terrify the Synthara. Species that had dominated for millennia suddenly found themselves outmatched by a civilization that had achieved spaceflight only 2 centuries before. They decided we were too dangerous to exist. The Galactic Concordat was signed in secret. Every major power agreed. Humanity must be destroyed before we grew beyond their ability to stop us. They calculated that if they combined their forces, if they struck before we expanded further, they could overwhelm us through sheer numbers. They spent 3 years assembling the Armada. 12,000 of the most powerful warships in the galaxy. Dreadnoughts the size of mountains, carriers holding thousands of fighters, battle cruisers bristling with weapons that could crack planets. Their strategists ran simulations. Even in the worst-case scenarios, they could not imagine losing more than 30% of their force to destroy Earth. Most projections showed victory within hours. Against this force, the Terran Federation had 50 combat-capable vessels. 50. I will never forget the council meeting when we received intelligence about the Armada. The faces of admirals and politicians as they absorbed the numbers. 12,000 to 50. A ratio of 240 to 1. President Chen asked me directly, "Admiral Volkov, can we win this?" I told her the truth. Not through conventional means, not through anything they expect. She asked what I needed. I told her to authorize protocols that had been forbidden since their creation, weapons systems that we had built in secret and prayed we would never use, contingencies designed for exactly this scenario when the entire galaxy turned against us. She authorized everything. The Armada entered the Sol system on March 15th at 0600 hours. They emerged from hyperspace beyond Neptune's orbit, their formation stretching across millions of kilometers of space. Sensors showed a wall of hostile contacts so dense it appeared solid. I was aboard the flagship, the Unconquered, watching the tactical display. 12,000 red dots advancing toward Earth. 50 blue dots standing in their way. My communications officer was crying. She thought she was watching the end of humanity. I told her to dry her tears. We had work to do. The Armada's supreme commander, a Rathani admiral named Keth Vorath, broadcast a message as his fleet advanced. "To the humans of Sol, you are surrounded. You are outnumbered. Your destruction is mathematically certain. We offer you one opportunity to surrender. Lay down your weapons. Evacuate Earth. Accept permanent exile to a designated reservation world. If you refuse, every human being in this system will die. You have 1 hour to respond." I let 45 minutes pass before I replied. "Admiral Keth Vorath, this is Fleet Admiral Volkov. I have considered your offer carefully. My response is as follows. You have made a critical error in your calculations. You have counted our ships. You have measured our conventional forces. You have assessed our known capabilities. You have not accounted for what we have been hiding. For 200 years, humanity has prepared for this day. We knew it would come. We knew the galaxy would eventually unite against us. We have been building weapons you cannot imagine, developing strategies you cannot predict, preparing contingencies you cannot comprehend. You brought 12,000 ships to destroy us. You should have brought more. Your 1 hour is up, and so is your armada. All Terran units, execute Protocol Omega. Phase 1 began 3 seconds later. The Armada's sensors detected anomalies throughout the asteroid belt. Millions of small objects activating simultaneously. Objects that had been dormant for decades, hidden among the rocks, waiting for this moment. The Swarm. 700 million autonomous combat drones, each one the size of a fighter, each one carrying enough firepower to destroy a corvette. We had been manufacturing them in secret for 50 years, hiding them in asteroids, powering them down until they were needed. They powered up now. The Armada's outer formations were hit first. Swarm units by the thousands descended on screening vessels, overwhelming point defense systems through sheer numbers. Ships that expected to provide early warning instead became the first casualties. Admiral Volkov ordered his fleet to accelerate, to push through the swarm and engage our main force. It was the logical response. It was what we wanted him to do. Phase 2 activated as the Armada passed the orbit of Mars. Humanity had spent decades building infrastructure around the Sun. Solar collectors, energy transmission stations, research platforms studying stellar physics. That was the official explanation. The reality was a weapon system codenamed Helios, 12 orbital platforms positioned around the Sun, each one capable of focusing and directing solar energy into a coherent beam. Individually, each platform was a curiosity. Together, they were a stellar cannon capable of outputting more energy than every nuclear weapon ever built, combined every single second. The first beam struck the center of the Armada formation at 07:15. 300 ships vaporized instantly. Not destroyed. Vaporized. Converted to plasma in a fraction of a second. The Armada scattered. Discipline broke as captains realized they were facing a weapon that could destroy hundreds of ships with a single shot. Their formations dissolved into chaos as vessels tried to escape the beam's path. But Helios was not a single-shot weapon. The platforms recharged in 90 seconds. The second beam hit at 07:16:30. 240 more ships ceased to exist. The third beam, the fourth, the fifth. By 07:20, the Armada had lost over 2,000 ships. They had not yet fired a single shot at our fleet. Admiral Volkov made the decision to commit everything. He ordered a full charge at Earth, accepting losses from Helios in exchange for closing the distance. His remaining ships accelerated to maximum speed, abandoning formation in a desperate rush toward our planet. It was the aggressive move, the bold move. It was the wrong move. Phase 3 activated as the Armada passed the orbit of Earth's moon. For 60 years, every human warship reported destroyed in combat or accident had actually been recovered, repaired, and hidden in a classified location. A massive facility buried deep within an asteroid, where ships were stored, maintained, and upgraded in absolute secrecy. We called it the graveyard. 2,000 warships, vessels that the galaxy believed were destroyed, vessels that had been upgraded with technologies we never revealed to our enemies. Vessels crewed by personnel officially listed as dead. The Ghost Fleet. They decloaked behind the Armada at 0725. Admiral Kethvorath suddenly found himself caught between two forces. The 50 ships of the main Terran fleet ahead of him, 2,000 ghost ships behind him, the swarm harrying his flanks, Helios preparing another shot. His 12,000 ships had been reduced to approximately 9,000 in less than 30 minutes, and now those 9,000 were surrounded. The battle that followed lasted 6 hours. I will not describe every engagement, every maneuver, every sacrifice. The records exist for those who wish to study them. What I will describe is the moment the battle turned. At 0945, Admiral Kethvorath's flagship, the Divine Mandate, was disabled by a coordinated strike from 12 Ghost Fleet cruisers. His command was transferred to a secondary vessel, but the damage was done. The Armada's coordination, already strained, collapsed entirely. Individual species began making independent decisions. Some fought on. Some tried to retreat. Some turned on each other as old rivalries resurfaced in the chaos. The Rethani battle group blamed the Korvax carriers for failing to provide fighter cover. The Korvax accused the Selenthri of abandoning their assigned positions. Ancient hatreds, suppressed for the sake of the alliance, exploded across communication channels. We had counted on this. The 47 species of the Grand Armada had never truly trusted each other. They were united only by fear of humanity. When that unity fractured, when the battle turned against them, their coalition shattered. By noon, 3,000 Armada ships had been destroyed. Another 2,000 were disabled or damaged. The remainder were scattered across the solar system, fighting each other almost as much as they fought us. At 1400 hours, the first surrender signals appeared. The Korvax hegemony broke first. Their remaining ships powered down weapons and broadcast surrender on all frequencies. The Mexari followed within minutes. Then, the Thessians, the Vor, the Selenthri. One by one, the species that had come to destroy us asked for mercy. By 1600 hours, organized resistance had ceased. The greatest military force ever assembled had been broken in less than 12 hours. Final casualty assessment. The Grand Armada lost 8,437 ships. Over 6 million alien crew members killed. The remainder surrendered or fled. Terran losses. 31 ships destroyed. 47,000 personnel killed. 31 ships against 12,000. We lost less than 1% of what they lost. The aftermath reshaped galactic civilization entirely. The 47 species that participated in the Grand Armada were required to sign the Treaty of Soul. Total disarmament. War reparations paid over the next century. Permanent human oversight of their military capabilities. The Galactic Council was dissolved and reformed under human leadership. Not because we demanded it, because no other species had the credibility to hold the position after the Armada's failure. We did not seek revenge for the attempted genocide. We could have. We had the power. We had the justification. Instead, we offered reconstruction, aid, partnership. We helped rebuild the fleets we had destroyed, under new agreements and new limitations. Some call this mercy, others call it strategy. The truth is somewhere between. We did not destroy them because destroying them would have made us what they feared. We showed restraint because restraint proved we were better than their worst assumptions about us. But we also made certain They would never forget what we could do if provoked. I am sometimes asked why we hid our capabilities for so long, why we did not reveal the Swarm, Helios, and the Ghost Fleet before the attack, why we let the galaxy believe we were weaker than we were. The answer is simple. We knew this day would come. We knew they would unite against us eventually. And we knew that the only way to survive was to let them underestimate us completely. If they had known our true strength, they would have built a larger armada. They would have developed countermeasures. They would have found ways to neutralize our advantages. By hiding everything, we ensured that when the moment came, their surprise would be total. Their defeat would be absolute. Their lesson would be permanent. The Battle of Saul is studied in every military academy in the galaxy now, not as an example of human superiority, but as a warning about the dangers of assumption. The Armada assumed 50 ships meant weakness. They did not consider that 50 ships might be bait. They did not consider that humanity had been preparing for their attack since before most of their species achieved spaceflight. They did not consider that the species they called dangerous might be far more dangerous than they ever imagined. 23 years have passed since the Battle of Saul. The galaxy has changed. Humanity leads now, not through conquest, but through the memory of what we demonstrated that day. We do not need to threaten. We do not need to intimidate. Every species knows what happened when 12,000 ships tried to destroy us. Every species knows that we held back. Helios could have sterilized every homeworld in the former Concordat. The Ghost Fleet could have pursued the survivors and eliminated them. The Swarm could have spread beyond Saul and consumed everything in its path. We chose not to. That choice, more than our victory, is what defines humanity's place in the galaxy. We are the species that could destroy everything. We are also the species that chose not to. Both facts matter equally. This is Fleet Admiral Aleksandr Volkov, signing off. Case File 001. Omega is now closed. They brought 12,000 ships to destroy Earth. We brought 50 ships and 200 years of preparation. The galaxy learned something that day, something they will never forget. Do not count human ships. Count human plans, because we always have more than you see. And we have been planning for you longer than you know.